Welcome to Streams of Income, hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Streams of Income podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you are willing to give me some of your time to listen to either a business lesson or an interview with an amazing entrepreneur. So once again, thank you for listening to the Streams of Income podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. All right, folks, welcome to the Streams of Income podcast. And like always, we started talking before I hit record, and we were talking about naps. And that might be the most important thing we talked about today is energy maintenance, especially as we get older. I'm 51, you're in your late 40s, you said. And yeah, naps and energy maintenance is a big deal.
For sure, especially that life seems to be more and more demanding.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so we're here with Daniel Hendy, the CEO of Noem. Is that how I pronounce it?
Noem AI, yep.
Noem AI. All right, and I've been looking forward to this one. I read up on you as soon as we booked the podcast, and then I was just now refreshing some of the stuff, and somehow I'd missed the whole thing about Flywheel earlier, so we're going to have to talk about that.
Okay.
So I tell you what, before we dig into what you're doing now, because I definitely want to dig into that for my audience, but I like to figure out, what did you do in your pre-founder life? Like streams of income, early jobs as a kid, what brought you to where you are now?
Yeah, so early jobs as a kid. My first job was when I was 12. My dad didn't like the whole 3-month off of school doing nothing but playing video games and throwing rocks at cars. So I said, okay, we're going to get you to do something productive. I worked at a leather factory that were making like belts and things of that nature. I was just punching holes in leather. Yeah. Because I wasn't allowed to operate the big cutting machineries because I'd lose a finger. I'd walk about 2 miles to get to the closest bus stop, then take a bus all the way down to downtown where I was like a gopher. Just here's paper, go from this office to that office, go pick up this package, drop it off, whatever they needed me to do at this publishing company. And I did that. And for the summer, they paid me in bologna sandwiches. Right? I never actually saw a dime. It was more, hey, this is some experience. Learn how to wake up, even though you're tired, doing something you really don't want to do, but pushing through it, and then finding the reward at the end that I accomplished something. And my dad put something in me that, yes, the gumption to actually wake up and be disciplined, but figuring out what you don't like, because figuring out what you do like is a lot harder. But through process of elimination, you realize, okay, this being out and running errands for people while they're making more money than you. Okay, that classification of jobs I don't like. Okay, good. Now you know. So whatever your career path is, make sure it doesn't end up there. So through process of elimination, I started realizing what I wanted to do, and then I became a software engineer. That was by chance. Everybody had a computer except me. My dad's like, I'm not paying $4,000 for a video game console and whatever. You already have a video game console, because all the kids wanted the computer to play games, right?
Yeah. So if you're in your late 40s, we're talking like Commodore 128?
No. The reason being is everybody had those, right? I had the Commodores and then the 486s, but my dad, no. Oh, so now I'm in high school and going into my senior year, and my dad says, hey, listen, your uncle just bought this computer. He doesn't want it anymore. I can get you your first car or a computer. And I'm like, okay, can always get a car. I really want that computer.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like, okay, you're not going to get that car. You're going to continue walking. Fine. So I got the computer, and I'm so happy. And but again, everybody had a computer except me at that point, which is probably good. I touched grass a lot more.
Yeah.
I get this computer, I install a game, and I break it. Ah, shoot. So we go, I tell my mom, I don't tell my dad, let's go fix it. Go fix it, spend a lot more money than we should to fix it. Come back home like, okay, grab that CD, put it in, broke it again. I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm not touching this computer, because if I tell them I broke it again, my head's on the chopping block, right? A few weeks pass, and my dad walks into the room. I just bought you this computer. I never see you using it. It's a waste of money. Why did you make me buy it? I said, you know what? It's broken anyway. How much worse can it get? About 3 hours in, I fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now remember, I don't have the internet. The internet existed. I just don't have access to it.
Yeah. So
and I realized, okay, well, I found out you could do /help or question mark, and sometimes it'll tell you some certain things. Yeah. And then, like, if you broke something, you can go back and fix it because it's software. There's not actual physical broken piece, right? So whatever you changed, you could undo most of the time. There are some exceptions, but anyway, I got it to work. Within that year, I was fixing everybody's computer. I learned BASIC because that was the installed language on the computer, and started developing software. Some small, kid stuff, but it got me to understand this I enjoy doing. I'm actually good at this. Right. Yeah. And there's an unlock for our young kids is, well, you guys are good at this. You are good at something. You just haven't found it yet. Right. And this instant gratification of, oh yeah, I was a genius day one. No, I wasn't. I may have thought I was a genius, but I wasn't. Right. But I knew that because even if it was difficult, I pushed through. So finding that passion to find, I don't know if you ever read the book, The Art of Not Giving a F.
That's a good book.
Yeah, the title is catchy, right? I can summarize the entire book to say, hey, listen, don't pick your reward, pick your challenge, right? Is if your reward on whatever, path you're taking is being in Hawaii, sipping Mai Tais on the beach, I'll put you in Hawaii. I'll give you as many Mai Tais as you want. I want to see after 3 days what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
You're going to say, like, I don't want the beach. I'm sunburned. I'm throwing up left and right. I don't want another Mai Tai. Leave me alone. Okay, so now what? So that, and now what, is what life is, right? Figuring out what challenge you like solving. Where do you produce value? You produce value for your family. You produce value for your friends. Otherwise, you wouldn't be friends, right? And you produce value for your community. And that could be, sales, that could be software, that could be, it doesn't matter. Are you producing value and do you enjoy doing it? It doesn't mean it comes easy, right? It just means this is a problem that I like solving and I'll push through it, right? I teach everybody, like whoever says, hey, I want to be a software engineer and build companies like you and have these startups. I'm like, listen, I can teach anybody to do what I do. Literally anybody. You don't have a degree. Can you read and write? Okay, that's a requirement. I can teach you what I can do. Okay, can't teach you to like it.
Yeah.
Find what you like doing and not something like, I like playing video games, even though nowadays you could probably create a career doing that. But find a problem you like solving.
Yeah. Yep, that works. That works, man. And what you were saying about eliminate what you don't want to do. I mean, I learned early on I didn't want to do fast food as a teenager. I would not be good at it. I would hate it. People make me mad. I'd spit in their food. I mean, I would have hated it that much. But yeah, I mean, that's perfect advice. Joe DeCina, the guy that does Spartan races.
Yep.
I heard him say one time his dad forced him to get a job as a teenager digging ditches for like the local landscapers, just so he would say, I'm going to do anything I can to not have to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, just not to have, blisters on my hand all day and have the callus on my hand where if I shake your hand, it looks like you shook sandpaper. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. And some people may say, you know what? I actually like being in the sun. I'm getting a workout. Well, that's great. There's nothing wrong. There's not a right and wrong. The biggest thing is that we think this the life is a finite game with winners and losers. Like, no, that's not how it works. Life is more akin to a song.
Yeah.
Right? You don't pick your favorite song. Do you play it at 2x speed?
No. I play it louder and
why would I want to. You play it at half
I'll
speed.
rewind it and re-listen to it.
Yeah, but you play it at its the speed and the pace that it should be played at. Not too super slow, not super fast, just at the speed. Do you just like the chorus? Do you just like the beginning intro? Do you like the solo in it? What part? I like it all. Yeah, it's nice, but if the entire song was a solo, nah, that's too much, right? If the entire song was just the chorus going over and over again, no, that is your life. You go through seasons. Don't rush it. When your season feels like it's taking a little bit too long, just ask yourself, what is the lesson I'm not learning? When you're going through your winter, that could be your relationship, your business, whatever. When you're going through a winter, this season, everybody goes through a winter. Everybody, whoever says he doesn't is lying to you, right? Yeah. Everybody goes through a winter. Ask yourself, this is normal, yes. Is this taking too long? Has this been a winter that's lasted 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Ask yourself, what is the lesson you're refusing to learn? And then you can get through that winter. And then ask yourself, how do you measure success? Is it money? Is that how you measure success? I can tell you a bunch of people who have a lot of money who are not happy. Is it happiness? Is happiness a sustained feeling that you can have? Happiness to me is acceleration, right? You only, like when you're in a car, or you're in a plane going 400 miles per hour, you don't feel it until you accelerate or decelerate.
Yeah.
Right. That's where happiness is, right? Being peaceful, being content, being joyful. That's a state of mind. Happiness and depression is acceleration, deceleration, right? So don't try to constantly because if you accelerate, you are going to spin out of control, right? Because that ends up at, end of a needle, trying to find happiness and whatever that feeling you have. That's not good, right? Find reward in the productivity you create. Find the joy in the kids that you're bringing up that are real men and women that are actually a benefit to society. Anyway, I know we're not talking about AI, but man, in general, we
nuggets, man. I mean, I'm writing notes here, and what's the lesson you refuse to learn? That's gold. Because I mean, and like you said, the acceleration, deceleration. Because I got bummed yesterday about something. I had some problems with some things that I'm trying to work on, and I didn't even think about it. But yeah, it slowed me down, and I got bummed. But when I get back into action mode and want to attack that problem, I feel the energy, I feel the hope, and that helps. But yeah, no, we haven't even talked AI yet, and this is already some good stuff.
Yeah, I'll leave you with a quote that is not mine. I've heard it from Jimmy Carr, but I'm sure it's not his
Jimmy
either.
Carr.
So, whoever said it that I'm not attributing to, I apologize. But problems in life is not a bug; it's a feature. It's a feature. Imagine life with zero problems. It's not a good life. Just look at those Nepo kids and people born with a silver spoon in their mouth.
Yeah,
it's not a good life, right? If you want muscles, you got to go to the gym.
Yep.
The other part is problems are just parts of your life that need your attention. That's it.
That's good.
Somebody that doesn't have a problem doesn't need your attention right now. It may later, but for now, whatever problem you have, don't look at it as the quote unquote problem. Look at it as part of your life that needs your attention. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. All right. So bringing it back to business, the flywheel thing, I came across that. So you were doing something pre-Uber that would have, what happened there? Were you just too early or what happened?
So if I told you I built a company from my garage that was worth $135 million, you'd say that's great until I tell you who my competitor was. Right. Okay, let me tell you, my second company was a company called WebCabbie.
Okay.
From the name of it, you can tell how old that was. So, just web and cabbie, pre-iPhone, pre-smartphone. Yeah. I was a software engineer. I sold my first company, Schema Plus, and I was on this high of, hey, you know what? I can do this too. I can build these companies. One of my best friends lives in San Francisco. His dad owns a dispatching company. Chris Swayze came to me and said, you can order a pizza online. You can't order a cab online. I'm like, what? That's not true. Come on. So I go online and I look for cab. Yeah, there's maybe a cab company in Chicago that may allow you to do it, but it's really not prevalent. So he said, okay, well, this is a problem we can solve. So we started creating a company called WebCabbie, where dispatchers for cabs can join People can place an order and they dispatch cabs to you online, just like you would order a pizza. You'd order a cab. Hey, tomorrow morning I got to be at LAX, so 6 a.m. Come pick me up. Okay, here's my address. Here's my credit card. Pay for it, and you're good. We built that company. We distributed it out, up and down the West Coast. When another company approached my partner Chris Swayze in San Francisco to sell them a platform called Cabulous, and Cabulous was on the first or second iPhone, and it just wasn't what they were trying to sell it to cab drivers. And cab drivers were on flip phones. They had Motorola's then, and nobody wanted to buy it. So they were really struggling when we were succeeding. And so he said, in full disclosure, I'm co-founder of WebCabby. We technically compete, so we probably shouldn't talk. And then the lesson. This was a good lesson that we learned there is that John Walpert at the time came back and kept on saying, no, let's continue talking, and we were friendly. And they were backed by Best Buy Ventures, so they had some funding, and they said, you know what? Why are we doing this? You guys have the back end, we have the front end. Let's just buy you out. So they came in, they bought us out, and I was done. I sold WebCabby. I'm done. But they were still in their infancy. A few months after that, they came to me specifically and said, we don't know what we're doing. Right. We need somebody who's a heavy hitter in tech that can actually make this work. So I said, listen, you're going to need a round of funding for us to do this. They were great. John was amazing. He went. The investors were great. They came in. We did a round. I was able to come on board full time and then really build that company. That company morphed into Flywheel. So when we were building Flywheel, it's basically Uber for taxis before Uber was Uber. This was before Uber was out. Actually, we had a tiff with Travis. We were in San Francisco. He was on 2nd Street, few blocks away from us. And we felt that he was basically, we were in the same space that was too similar. And without saying, hey, I think he was copying us or whatever, we all get inspired from each other. That's fine, right? But when confronted, and this is the lesson I really learned, I mentioned before, I built a company. I've been blessed far more than I deserve. Right? If I told you I built a company that was worth $135 million, great, except I told you my competitor was Uber. So here's the lesson I learned there. We were following all the rules. So in Las Vegas, most of us listening to this probably has been to Las Vegas, you can't hail a cab on the strip. You can't. You have to go to a hotel. The lobby will get you a cab. If you're off the strip, you can hail a cab. If you're in Indiana going to Louisville, Kentucky to leave from the airport, so you're booking a cab tomorrow, I adhere to daylight savings, depending, not all Indiana adheres to daylight savings, and Kentucky may or may not, to book tomorrow at 6 a.m. on a moving vehicle that's a cab that is now in daylight savings and not in daylight savings, now in Central Time, now in Eastern Time. You're crossing time zones. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Right. So we had to adhere to all the regulations, all the MTS regulations, every municipality. And we just tried to do the right thing by abiding by the law. Yeah. Uber came in and said, nope, not playing your game here. And they, how can I say this in a friendly way, played politics. Okay. Let's just put it that way. They played politics and they said, this law doesn't make sense. And you know what? They were right. It doesn't make sense. There's way too much. It's heavily regulated. It's way too much. They just pretty much brought some Priuses, put an app inside, and at the airport when all the cabs are waiting in line for their turn, they just pull up right to the curb, pick up the guy and leave. Like, what? I pay a gate. You didn't even pay a gate. I waited in line. You didn't wait in line. Right? So now it's sort of met towards the middle. There's been less regulation a little bit on the cab industry where they're able to pick up Ubers and so on in some cities. And then Uber's been a little bit more regulated with, the cab drivers revolting, whatever. But the lesson learned there is, one, how do you measure success? I told you I was successful until I told you who my competitor is. Are you always measuring against somebody else? Is my family blessed because of that situation? Yeah, of course. Is it greed that says I didn't win? No. And you know what? I did win. I just didn't win as much as somebody else. There's a saying that says, again, I'm attributing these sayings that are not mine. You looked into my cup to see if I had more. I looked into your cup to see if you had enough. What type of person are you? Right?
Yeah,
Ask
that's
yourself
good.
that question. Like, is it because if you're always comparing against somebody else, I know we're doing life lessons, but in business, part of your depression, like you know how many families you're feeding at your company? I have
Yeah.
5 families. I have 50 families. I have 500 families. It is a burden. It is a burden. But you remember that 20-year-old who got married while he was working for you? He was able to get married because he was working for you. You know that newlywed, when they join your company and now have a kid, they're able to feed that kid because you employ them.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a yoke around the business owner and the entrepreneur's shoulders that you need to carry, right? And when I feel tired, I feel like, God, please give me the strength to carry this yoke, right? Not to take it off my back.
Yeah.
Just give me the strength to carry it, right? Because if it's taken off your back, what does that mean? Your family, many families that you're supporting, through your business, will feel it. So no, God, give me the strength to carry the yoke, not to take it off. So anyway.
Yeah. No, and that goes a long way too, because you get a lot of employees that they don't think it's fair that the boss has a nice house, the founder has a nice car. They don't understand. Number one, what they went through to become the CEO, the founder, the boss, and then secondly, all the burden that they carry. And because I worked for my dad for many, many years, and there were times where it was like, my dad's got a nice car, I don't, but now that I'm an adult, I have my own kids, I see some of that burden, and I carry a lot of that burden that he carried, and realize what an ungrateful turd I was for so many years until I figured it out.
As a son and as an employee, we don't have the perspective. And do you really, with your son, do you really want him to have the burden that you have now?
No. You're
going to get it. It'll come soon enough, right?
Yeah.
It'll come soon enough. I need to get you to practice a little bit. So when the day comes, you've actually carried something on your shoulders before. The helicopter parenting is too much, where like when adulthood comes, it's like they hit a brick wall. But why? It's because you had zero practice. You need some practice. I don't need you to be a full adult at 6, but I need you to say, hey, put away your toys, clean your bed. You have a bird. You're gonna help mom. Why? Because it's mom. You're gonna help mom. You're gonna take out the trash. You're gonna do, because we're a family unit here. So that if you rob your kids from practice, it'll be too much of a burden when adulthood does come. But also on the other side, you don't want to throw everything on them, and you realize like, oh, my dad, like I remember the day I realized what my dad did for me. And then when I realized what my mom did for me, I picked up the phone and I called my dad. I said, Dad, I'm sorry. How did you do it? I know how much you make. How did you do it? We're 3 kids. We never went hungry. We always had a roof over our shoulder. We always had a shirt on our back. How did you do it? He's like, you know what? God provides. And he just did the right thing. And that was him. That was his ethos, right? I called up my mom. This is when I called up my mom. This is really sad. When I had my first apartment, I was going to work, coming back. I had a glass table and I put a cup of water on that glass table. I went and came back. I was tired that night. I'm like, okay, I'll do the dishes in a second. I went, came back. By the time I picked up that cup, this is going to sound disgusting, there was a dust ring around that cup. Yeah. And I'm like, every time I used to leave a cup on the counter and my mom would pick it up and clean it, I'd come back home and it's cleaned. I should have said thank you for every cup. I should have said thank. I picked up the phone. I said, Mom, I'm sorry I didn't say thank you enough. I did. It's all behind the doors. You never asked for a thank you. You never, held it over my head. I clean up behind you. You just did it, and you did it out of love. And you know what? I should have said thank you a lot more. Let me say thank you now. Just try to remind ourselves, just to be more appreciative of the people around us.
Oh, yeah. And that's a win as a parent. When your young adult child calls you up and you realize, what? They made it. They're at the edge of adulthood now. They understand, and they can only go forward from here. Yeah.
Okay, one more story. Then we go into AI. One more story. Okay. My brother comes to you can edit this out if you don't want it. My brother comes to live with me, right? He's 5 years younger than me. He comes to live with me. My parents are in Jordan. My brother comes to live with me. I'm in the United States. I'm in LA, and he comes to live with me. And I realize what it means to take care of somebody. You know, when they're out for too long at night and you don't know where they're at, and
Yeah.
you know, if something goes wrong, hey, this is a responsibility around my neck. So for years, I thought my dad liked the chicken neck. I thought my dad ate certain things and took them because he liked them. So here's the story. My brother's with me. I get used to becoming his guardian, right? His caretaker, even though he was old enough to take care of himself, but still just the feeling that burden.
Yeah.
We go to Jordan to visit my parents, and loaf of bread, fresh, brand new loaf of bread, right? Everybody's taking a piece. My sister's there, my brother's there, you know, some of the grandkids, everybody's there. And I go grab the end of the loaf. My dad, without saying it, you know, explaining, says, in my house, this is mine. And for that second, even though it wasn't verbalized, we both hate that piece. We both hate that piece. But as the head of the household here, right, nobody wants that. You guys can have the middle part of the loaf, the end that nobody wants, I'll take, right?
Yeah.
And we spoke about it afterwards, right? But at that time, he didn't have to explain anything. I just nodded and I said, thank you. He's like, my house, this is my piece. Right? Like the burden for this is my house. I will take that burden because I know you do it in your house. So enough of the story. Sorry,
No, this is good. I mean, it's the background, you know, behind the scenes where the wizard lives, and we see what really happens.
It builds character. It gives you insight. It lets you start playing chess versus checkers. You know, you start understanding why things are the way they are.
Oh yeah, yep. All right, so let's dig into the present. So Noem AI, tell me all about it. And my audience is a lot of my audience they're working W-2 jobs. Kind of what I do is trying to let them see the other side, escape W-2 if they want to, you know, to start a business, just to be home with the kids more, some of that. So try to think about it in terms of like helping a small business owner, a new business owner, or even somebody that wants to become like indispensable where they are. How could they use what you do?
AI definitely can do that in general. So anytime you're attaining a new skill, you're more valuable. Anytime you're looking at your paycheck and you're saying, you know, I need to make more money. The answer isn't how can I ask for the raise? And it's fine if you ask for a raise. That's not the issue. It's how can I create more value? Mm-hmm. So if I create these widgets, whatever these widgets are, I create a widget and I sell this widget for $10. It can't cost me 12.
Yeah.
So I need to take a look at what I'm doing as an employee, as a business owner, of what is it that I am producing? Can I produce more of them? Or can I produce a better widget that I could sell for more? I can't just ask for more money. At a certain point, it financially doesn't make sense to your employer. Financially doesn't make sense to you as a business owner, right? So you say, hey, do I have one branch? I have a gym. Do I open up 2 gyms or do I make my gym bigger? Do I become more boutique and increase the quality and increase the monthly membership, right? So with AI is unlocking a lot of barriers that used to exist for anybody producing value. All the specialties are getting blurred in their lines, right? We all know this. Like, hey, we needed a tech expert to write an email for us. Like, no, I can write an email. Oh, we needed a software engineer to develop a website for me. I can go to Wix and put up a website for me. Like, so you know how those lines are blurring? So now that's happening across sport. So if you're at your job, and I say this all the time, whether you're a business owner, whether you're an employee, if AI can take your job, it should. No qualms about it. No apologies. If AI can take your job, it should. Do you think you are hired for your job, your contribution is fingers on keyboard? Is that what you think you do? When I hired you for my company for operations, whatever, you think I hired you to write emails to everybody? That's how you measure success? Going back, we've robbed everybody from deep thought. Mm-hmm. We're so stuck in the shallows where our job becomes a task list. It's just check, 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 done. We know this because whether we're on either side of this table, where I'm either the employer or the employee, and the employee comes to their manager and whatever and says, "Here, look, boss, look at all the sweat on my brow. Look at how much effort I put in. Look at all these checks next to this checklist. Okay, I deserve something. I deserve a raise." Do you think that's how we measure success? That's I say this all the time to like people who are struggling. If your job is to, my car just broke down outside and I need it to be pushed to the end of the road here so AAA can pick it up. Right. And you're pushing. You're half charred, smoke and whatever, dust and dirt. And you come back and you're like, I just spent 5 hours pushing. You just spent 5 hours pushing a car down the road here. 5 hours. Wow. It took a lot of time and effort. So the car's down there, right? Oh, no, it hasn't budged. But I've been pushing for 5 hours. Yeah, but can I get my day's wage? What? You think pushing the car is how you measure success, or not that the car actually moved? Like, oh yeah, did you try the emergency brake? Did you put it in neutral? Did you try anything else? You said go push the car. No, I explained. You know what? I didn't tell you why I needed you to push the car. I've been a bad communicator. This is what AI is exposing with us. We've been communicating to our teams poorly, and to our family members too. All your relationships. Let me explain. You go to ChatGPT and you ask it to do something. You go to Claude and you ask it to do something. Write a blog, write an article, write an email. And it wrote some text. Mm-hmm. It's not as good as I wanted it to be. So what do we say? Make it better. Can you explain to me what better means?
Yeah.
Just add some polish to it. What does polish mean? Like spell check, grammar? What does that mean? Just make it sound more professional. Professional to who? A software engineer? To a business owner? To who? To a customer? To an internal team member? What does professional mean?
Yeah.
Right? We just add an adjective and said, hey, we were clear with our instructions. No, you weren't. When I told you sell more. $1 more? $2 more? That's technically more. Well, what is more? Right? AI is shortening that cycle of feedback where your employee, where your team member, whatever, may take a week or two to come back with the result. You're like, what the heck was that? That's not what I asked you for. Right? And we keep on blaming them for them not understanding what's in here that we did not deliver in our communication. AI immediately comes back and says, this is what you asked me for. I can't blame it. It did what I asked it to do. And the rest it guessed. Like, oh, but why did I leave it up to you to guess? We do that in our communication all the time. We do that with our kids. We do that with our spouses. We do that with our employees. And we're like, oh, we've been communicating extremely poorly. Mm-hmm. And your spouse just understands you because she's been with you for so long and knows he said this, but he really means this. And notice sometimes some of our wives will even tell our kids, yeah, daddy really meant that. Right? Like, oh, okay. Same thing with our wives. I know when she comes in, she says something, I know you really mean this.
Yeah.
Right? You're angry about this. It has nothing to do with this. It's really about this, right? But that takes years and years of reading between the lines, trial and error, where AI says, hey, no, let's not take years and years. Let's not take weeks. Let's do this in an instance. Right? So we have to be more precise with the way we communicate. We need to understand how to measure success and measure failure, be very clear and concise. And then when AI still doesn't do what we need it to do, right? Just like with your employee, I gave you clear, here's the manual. I told you how to do this job. You didn't do it the way I asked you to. Ask it, what wasn't clear? Instead of fix it, no, you should have put this on top of this, before you did that. No, now they're relying on you to autocorrect them, right? Ask them, what part of my instructions was not clear? Well, what do you mean? You obviously didn't produce the result that I wanted. What do you mean? No, here's the widget. Okay, so you don't know how to measure success. Let's start from there.
Yep.
The way you measure success is that you need to end with XYZ result. Did you end with that? Well, now that that's clear to me, no, I didn't. Now let's go back to the process to figure out why you didn't end up where I needed you to end up. But if you're just being an advisor versus a coach, the advisor is in the business to keep you coming. A coach is in the business to get you self-reliant. Good coaches and good advisors, right?
Yep.
What do I mean? With AI, with your employees, with anybody you're talking to, are you a flashlight or a lantern? Flashlight, hey, there's a dark room. I need to get out of this room. Here's the flashlight. See right over there, there's the door. Okay, thanks, boss. I don't know why. I don't know how you knew it. I didn't know. Like, that's an advisor, right? We advise a lot. A coach turns on the lights. Here's a lantern. I lit up the room. Now explain to me what you see. There's a door there. Try to open it. Is it closed? Yeah, it's locked from the other side. I can't get out. Okay, what else is around you? A window? Is that window there? Can you jump out of that window? So in our communication, and this translates to AI, to employees, it doesn't. We are poor communicators. We need to enlighten. It's the lantern and flashlight situation in AI is if I am acting more like a flashlight, I'm baking bias into my communication. If I ask you, explain to me why Jamaica is going to be a global force in 2026. Try it. Nothing wrong with Jamaica, but yeah. I sort of baked in my answer into the question, like assume they will be a global force. Now come up with reasons why, right? So if you're an employee, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're trying to break out and say, hey, maybe I can do this business thing. First thing is ideation. Coming back and coming up with the idea. Never vet your ideas with your mom, with your dad. Your dad maybe will be a little bit harder on you, right? And generally speaking, I'm painting with a broad brush here, right? But an MVP, minimum viable product for a burger joint is bread, patty, bread. That's technically a minimal product. But the V in the middle, you missed out. Viable. It needs to be viable. If you don't have that person around you because you're trying to open up a new avenue for you, you don't have access to mentors, to entrepreneurs, to people with experience, ask AI. Tell it, you are not my friend. You are a potential investor in my company and pick apart my idea. Okay, you act like an angel investor and an angel investor who's super skeptical. Interview me about my business and tell me why you won't invest. Like, oh, you're baking in bias. Yes, I want you to come up with every excuse under the sun so I have an answer for it. Right? So as opposed to telling it to agree with you all the time, tell it to disagree with you. Tell it who it is. You're an angel investor. You're a VC. You are a seed investor, meaning friends and family. Somebody like, hey, I'm going to go to my uncle and ask him to fund my company. What would you ask me? So interview me to see if you would invest and then score me from 1 to 10 and tell me why I achieved that score. Right? Create a rubric for it. And like, oh, shoot, I don't understand the financials of this. Okay, before I execute, let me go figure out the financials. Then ask AI, how do I figure out the financials? That was a really good question. How do I figure it out? Well, generally, you look at the cost. Okay, what's the difference between COGS and OPEX? COGS and what are you talking about? Costs of goods sold versus operational expenses. Oh, I never heard that. Great. Let's start here. Right? So I just saved you a ton of money by opening up a business before you understand what COGS and OPEX is. Right? So,
yeah, 4 years of business school there.
And then you say, okay, great. I have an idea. I put something together. Now I need a website. I need a maybe it's a software that I'm creating. So you can go to places like Replit or Lovable or whatever and say, hey, this is my idea. Let's build a product. It'll help you build a product. Don't over-index there, because if your product is software, you want to own everything. So you want to be careful, over-indexing. But it's great for prototyping. Give that a shot. When you're going to, let's throw some ads on Meta and Google. Right. There's like grow as instantly. You can do outbound, inbound ads, ad management, and you'll throw some ads out there. Now you have AI has helped you generate ad content, generate copy, manage the ads that are out there so that your ROAS, your return on ad spend, makes sense. Okay. Now you got people coming to your website saying, okay, what are you selling? I think I'm interested. Right. This is where Noem AI comes in.
Okay.
Noem AI says you spend all this time and effort and money to get people to your website, to get people in the doors, to see who you are there, to get the phone to start dialing, calls coming in, emails start coming in. What Noem AI is, we have concierge AI agents. What does that mean? In its simplest form, it's a chatbot. Well, yeah, I've seen chatbots. You've seen crappy chatbots. You've seen glorified FAQs. Right? Is this a technical problem? Is this a billing problem? Or are you a new customer? Here's the number. Okay, you're not a chatbot. You didn't answer anything, right? Or a chatbot that's acting like a search for the help docs. I was just spent 3 hours on the help docs. I couldn't find what I'm looking for, right? What we do is we do more of a concierge. You come in and let's say you sell orthopedic shoes to children. I have a Shopify store, and my kid had some problems with his shoes when he was a kid, and I now have these new shoe line for orthopedic shoes for kids. Great. If you had a brick and mortar store and somebody walked in, would you say, "What's your question?" That's what your chatbot is telling you. When people log into here's a bunch of documents, go read them. You just came in here. Just hand me a pamphlet of documents to read when you walked into the store. Well, that's what we're doing on our websites. We're saying, here, I have 35 pages. Here, why don't you go read it to find all your answers?
Yeah.
Right? Or, how can I help you? I don't know. How can you help me? It looks like you have shoes here. Yes, I do. Okay. Do you have boy shoes? Yes. That's not that. That's how you wouldn't act with people, right? You wouldn't interact with your customer that way. So when what our AI does says, okay, so this is what we do really well. What brings you to us today? Oh, you know what? My son has a condition where one leg is longer than the other, and I'm looking for shoes. Great. You don't need the orthopedic shoes here. We actually have another line specifically for that condition. Let me find it. What shoe size is he? He's a size 12. Here's one in black. Here's one in blue, and here's one in red. That's how you'd interact with them.
Yeah.
Right. We're able to take 9-figure Shopify stores and increase their conversion rate 34%.
Wow.
So if you get the AI, but we spent a lot of time in our AI saying, stop just Q&Aing people. That's not how you talk to people. Right. We make it more like a concierge. Now, on the other side, they bought one pair of shoes. How can I get them to come back?
Yeah.
How can I get them to become loyal? Right. So the easiest way in software, we have SaaS models, right? You have people who pay you your Netflix or whatever. This is software as a service, right? Or media as a service, whatever it is. It's a monthly subscription. When I come back and I have a problem and I give you a call, right? I literally pick up the phone and call. The AI agent picks up and now knows you're an existing customer. You spent over $3,000 with us in the past 3 months. I'm going to make sure you're happy. Right? And speaking to customers, people don't have a problem speaking to AI. They don't. They have a problem in 2 potential areas. One, if you lie to me and you're acting like a human when you're AI, that's leaves a bad taste because you're starting off on the wrong foot, acting like something you're not. If you say, you know what, I'm an AI agent. If I can't help you, I'll bring somebody on the phone. Right. Yeah. But I'm on the phone like, okay, so I don't have to wait 30 minutes before somebody answers. Okay, that's fine. Second thing is the quality of the conversation. Did you solve my problem? Right. Because nothing's worse than being on, waiting on AT&T, an hour and a half for somebody to pick up. And once they finally pick up, sorry, I can't help you, and hang up.
Yeah.
That was just a waste of time, waste of effort. And the next time you call, if I got Jane instead of John, Jane is, had a better day and Jane's actually going to solve my problem.
Yep.
We've all done that. And if you haven't, anytime you call someone, you get the answer you don't want, hang up and pick up immediately. Get the next person on the queue online. You'll get a different answer.
Yeah.
So what if I told you, AT&T, Mr. Business Owner, whoever you are, let's find your best rep, clone them, 24 hours a day, never takes a coffee break, speaks all languages. And once you tell it something once, it never forgets. That's where AI comes in. This is where Noem AI comes in. So we're your concierge AI for lead conversion and customer support and success, right? We also have a faction in education and coaching. So public speakers that are out there, right? Public speakers generally have a framework that they work on. It may not be fine-tuning an acronym or something, Alex Hormozi closer framework, that's great if you could do that. By the way, AI can help you come up with one. Just say, here's my framework, come up with an acronym for me, but there's some framework. I've written maybe a book that, there's a lot of book writers out there like, hey, you know what? I made the book. I had some modest success. Not a lot of people bought it. I got my uncles and my cousins and my friends to buy it, whatever. There's nothing wrong with your book. There's nothing wrong with your book. Distribution is a headache. And you didn't write the book to become an author to make money. It's a lead magnet, right? But you genuinely put something valuable in there. If you took an AI agent, put it, or your book, put it in Noem AI, and said, you are a virtual coach around this. So taking the Alex Hormozi closer framework, because many people know what that is, right? Always sell Hawaii. Don't sell TSA, don't sell the plane ride, sell Hawaii, right? So this is how you close through his closer framework. Like, great, but I sell perishable goods. I'm a yogurt factory, and I don't sell to stores, I sell to distributors. How do I use the closer framework in my business? I can't, in my book, apply it to every single business out there.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense. But if I put the logic of my book in the AI and said, if you want me to come and be an advisor for your company, it's going to cost you $5,000, right? It's pretty steep. Okay, for $500 a month, you have access to my AI and you can email my team. Okay, so we've lowered the barrier to entry, right? And then I can go to the AI and say, here, I'm a yogurt manufacturer. My goods perish quickly because there's dairy and there's whatever in it, and it's super organic, so we don't have a lot of preservatives. I need the closer framework to do X, Y, Z. I know you've written this book that has the how to pitch, how to sell, how to retain, whatever it is. How do I apply it to my business? And then the AI takes your framework, your knowledge from your book, takes a scenario from that particular business and merges it together. It connects the dots for them. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
If you're on social media, when was the last time you looked at your Facebook or your Instagram? It's either you're doing it all the time and it's taking up a lot of your time, or you've neglected it, like, oh, shoot, I have a bunch of people message me on Facebook. Who still uses Facebook? Yeah, there's still a lot of people who still use Facebook. Otherwise, they would have shut it down, right? Can my AI respond back and not just, yeah, okay, here's the phone number, call support. Or yeah, call sales here. Did you vet out? Do you want your sales being bombarded by people in Bangladesh? You don't sell to Bangladesh. Right? From people from, Russia, and you don't sell to Russia. From people from no, there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't, my product doesn't reach there. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. How do you deal with that? Okay, well, let's have the AI say, this is how you qualify a lead, a marketing qualified lead. Right? Are they in Southern California? Because if you're in Northern California, I can't help you. Because we're a gym and you have to physically be here, right? Okay. Are you in Southern California? Are you willing to spend at least $100 on a membership every month? Yes. Are you worried about your fitness and willing to make a decision in the next 30 days? Yes. Okay, you're qualified. I'll jump on a call with you. If you say, no, $100 is too much, why am I jumping on a call with you? My minimum tier on my gym is $100. And I told you that and you said no. So why am I going to waste a very expensive sales guy to jump on a call, or even worse, your time? To just land on the same spot? Well, you can upsell. Well, why didn't the AI upsell? We've had our AI, this is in the use case that we show all the time is in a supplement store. Online supplement store. They sell supplements, right? So and it's a subscription model. Somebody was about to churn. They were going in to cancel when the AI, our Noem AI popped up and said, I see like you're trying to cancel your subscription. I can help you with that, but can I ask why? Oh, I haven't gained the muscle mass that I need. I'm paraphrasing here, right? I haven't gained the muscle mass that I have. Like, yeah, based on your subscription, if you took 100% of this protein supplement or whatever it is, you still wouldn't gain it because you're taking too little. This is for optimization, not for growth. You need 3 times as much to be able to grow. This is the amount of protein you need, how much creatine you need, how much. I'm paraphrasing here, right? Yeah. So, that's why I didn't see results. I was taking too little. I was doing on the optimization, recommendation, not on the growth recommendation. I want to bulk up and I want to whatever. It sold it a 3 times more expensive subscription.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of times, hey, you're not using the product. Oh, why are you canceling your gym membership? Oh, I haven't lost weight. Well, I can see you haven't come in. How about you come in and I give you a complimentary a session with one of our trainers that'll teach you how to use the equipment correctly. Oh, you'll do that for me? Better than losing a customer. Spend an hour with a guy that's on payroll.
That's a win-win too, because you upsell and the customer's happy.
So that's where our AI comes in. So Noem AI helps you with the conversion, helps you with retention, helps you create a virtual you. Even in education, we have people who are like, okay, I just came from Latin America and I live in the United States, right? And I know English, but I'm trying to learn math and English at the same time. So you say, okay, I'm trying to learn algebra, right? 6th grade algebra, whatever it is. Our AI agents will say, okay, before I teach you algebra, and I'm a little tutor for you, what do you like? Well, I like Pokemon, I like basketball, and I like FIFA Soccer World Cup. Okay, so I'm going to use all my examples. That's going to be either Pokemon, basketball, or soccer for you. Okay, it's the same. Like we wished our teachers did that for us.
Yeah.
Can you just give me an example that I care about and not a train moving from Los Angeles, going from New York at 60 miles per hour? And like, I don't care about train. I've never been on a train. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you told me Superman is going this way and the Flash is coming this way in the 6th grade, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a now interesting scenario. Who would win, Superman versus Flash? Just taking that extra effort to take something I'm interested in and apply what I'm trying to learn to that interest.
Yeah.
Right? To create, I love that. My English is not great. I need to learn English, but I'm taking ESL and I'm learning. But for now, I need to learn math. Can you translate this to Spanish? Yeah, no problem. Here's it in Spanish. Can you do that in Portuguese? I can do that in Portuguese, right? So it helps in education. By the way, I'm saying 6th grade, but this applies all across the board.
Yeah.
Right. And every child at some point was in a classroom where the question was asked to the math teacher, when am I ever going to use this?
Yep.
And here's the truth. A lot of our teachers never answered an appropriate answer for that.
Yeah.
Right. In AI, hey, why should I learn this? Well, what is the career path that you're trying to take? Well, I want to be a software engineer. You think as a software engineer, you're not going to use arithmetic? You're not going to use algebra? Let me give you many examples of how you're going to do this. Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to be a kid's soccer coach. Like, okay, you ever have a bunch of kids that are going to have a bunch of pizzas and you have to split the cost amongst all the parents? That's an equation. Like, oh yeah, that happened. My dad does that all the time. Every time we go to soccer, you know, the dads are fighting over the pizza and who's paying for what and who got the drinks and who got the pizza. Yeah, that's math. You're just not calling it math.
Yeah.
Right. So AI is allowing us to bridge the gap, blurring the line for new entrepreneurs to be able to market, create a product, support sale, right, and maintain customers and growth and deal with their finances. To say, hey, I have this business model, I'm losing money. Why? Here's my P&L. Like, yeah, your projection for the next 2 months has a constant cost projection, and that's why the last 6 months you've lost. You've sold more, but your cost goes up too.
Yeah.
In your equation, your cost stayed stable. Right? Like if I buy these widgets for $1 and I sell them for $2. Okay, if I sell more, my revenue will go up, my profits dollar amount will go up, but my margins are the same. So why? Because my cost goes up too, because I got to buy more of these to resell them. Oh shoot, you're right, I got that wrong. Right? And my model, there's something wrong. Okay, have AI fix that. AI will get you your CFO, your CTO, your CMO. It'll get you all of that. Maybe not to be the next unicorn, but to get you off the ground.
Yeah.
To get you to see if you've never been a business owner, I tell everybody, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. It's not for the faint of heart, right? If you think it's easy, believe me, everybody would do it if it's easy. I didn't say it's not worth the while. Just said it's not easy, right? And you go through your first winter is a long winter, right? That's fine. You just, winter's coming. No, winter's here. Winter's here. Buckle up for the ride. But once you pass that, spring is a wonderful spring after that. You just got to have the gumption and the resilience and the tenacity to get through that winter, right? The first 18, 24 months is tough, right? So anyway, AI will help you get through that without, losing your entire life savings, without just vet things out, prototype, just check it out, see if it works or not. One of the things that I had, this is a common issue with existing businesses. My previous company, Build Fire. So this is after Flywheel, before Noem AI, Build Fire. I built that company, spent 10 years building it, sold it almost 2 years ago now, something like that. That I had at our peak, hundreds of employees. I want to say 160, 180 employees, all across the globe. That took a toll, right? The biggest two that constantly was just a problem that would never go away were SDRs and CS reps. What are SDRs and CS reps? When somebody calls into a company, the sales development representative, like a person who answers the call and checks to see if you're a good fit for the company, whatever our products and services are, before it goes to the AE, the account executive, to close the deal, you have the SDR, right? The SDR is generally a college grad, somebody new to sales, says, I got to pay my dues. This is where you pay your dues, either as a BDR, that's outbound, SDR for inbound, right? You're jumping on these calls. And once you hire 6 people, to maybe 2 of them work out.
Yeah.
Anybody who says I have 100% hiring, success rate is lying to you. And if not, please write a book, create a masterclass, because all of us would love to know how you do it. It's impossible, right? You're going to hire some duds. So you hire a bunch to get some. You finally find that there's some. You spend 6 months getting them to really know your product and service, speak about the product and service as if they were you. And then they're starting to convert and doing well. Hey, boss, I want to be an AE. I'm doing well, right? Yeah, I want to be an AE because that's where the commissions are at. I just spent 6 months and a year getting you to exactly where I want you to be. And if I don't give you the AE position, you're going to leave because there is somebody else who will hire you as an AE. Yeah. So now, okay, you promote him to AE. He's still doing great as an AE, great. But now I have a vacuum with my SDR department. I have to go back, hire, and go through and it's a never-ending cycle. Same thing with customer success and customer support. The bad ones get fired. The good ones say, I don't want to answer how to reset your password one more time. I'm gonna go crazy if I do that. I want to be tier 2. I want to go into management. I want to go into account management. So account managers hold a book of business, and they make more commissions there. I don't want to be CS anymore. Now you're back to square one. The good ones are always leaving, right? Yeah. And if they don't, they'll leave your company. So that's where Noem AI came in. So let's fix that. This is the most neglected part. And what happens is when we go into a company, the CS team, for example, did I just lose my job? No, you didn't lose your job. When a company of 2 reps, there's many companies like, hey, we don't have 500 people here. We're 10 people. 2 of them answer the phones when customers call in to play. The CS and sales are the same people. That's how small of a company we are. Yeah, that's fine. A lot of business. America's built on that. 80% of the businesses out there are small mom and pop. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. What happens? You have John and Jane. What happens when John takes a vacation? What happens when John gets the flu? Jane's about to quit. Yeah, because she just got double the load of work. Yep. Right? AI helps normalize that. What happens when John, what's the difference when I call him when I have a problem? Monday morning, 8 a.m. after his first cup of coffee versus Friday afternoon, right before his daughter's recital on his 5th cup of coffee. Same person. Yeah. I'm going to get 2 different experiences. Oh, yeah. Right? So if we normalize that, if I go into a CS department, and I say, hey, guys, how are things going? I'm going to get one of 2 answers. Either everything's great. Really? Who calls you and says, I just will call you today to tell you everything's great. Everything's wonderful. You guys are doing an amazing job. Nobody does that. You're only calling because you have a problem. Right? So, okay. Or they tell you, there's a disaster, there's a fire. Remember Jenny that called last week? She's threatening to sue us over $50. Okay, that's a squeaky wheel. Right? That's not indicative of the entire company. I need to know that, but that's not indicative to the entire company. Now, this is where Noem AI really excels. So I told you what we help with, but where do we really excel? Our concierge experience. Now, because it's all AI led, we take all that data. Remember we said, how can AI help us? With the analytics side of it. What does that mean? If I took all your conversations that I know as a business owner, you're saying, I spot check them once a week. First of all, you're spot checking. You're not listening to them all. Second of all, I guarantee you there's many weeks you didn't spot check. You only started spot checking when somebody started complaining. Why? Because you're busy. And that's okay. And you're not the only one guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. right? If I took those conversations and I fed them into an AI model at Noem AI, what it does is it tells you, okay, here's your NPS and CSAT score. Wait, what's the what score? NPS and CSAT score. If you don't know that, you should know that. This is basically a metric that helps you assess the likelihood of your customer singing your praises, your net promoter score. If this customer leaves and goes outside your shop and it says, hey, would you recommend these guys? Oh, they were wonderful. Okay. Your NPS and CSAT score. It'll analyze it, because here's the problem with NPS and CSAT score. When you ask people, 90% of them won't answer. Who answers? The 5% really top had an amazing experience, or the 5 worst experience. And people generally on the worst side tend to answer a lot more than on the great side. Right? Because you solved my problem. I'm out. I'm gone. It's the people you still haven't solved my problem. They're going to come in and complain. So you always have to take it with a grain of salt. With our AI, it'll analyze it all, and it'll say, this is your true NPS and CSAT score. This is how you improve it. This is the 3 things that you have. They've been asking about 1, 2, 3, and they're not getting a solid answer. They've asked for a refund, and you know how many threads opened up? Where's my refund? Where I've waited 10 days. I've waited 15 days. Where's my refund? Okay, they didn't have a problem with that. You know, hey, yeah, I buy stuff from Amazon all the time and get a refund. Yeah, but if it takes a month to get my money back, there's an issue. How much are you going to blame the credit card, and the banks before, like, hey, you're holding back on me, right? Then it gives you sentiment analysis. Here's all the positive conversation. When you ask your employees, guys, I need testimonials. I need something. We need to tell people that we have good experiences. We want to put it on the website. We're trying to, make a commercial. We're trying to do something. Oh yeah, I had a customer say something less. I forget his name. What was his name? Like, AI will say that customer had an amazing experience. Give them a call and ask if you could record it, or if they don't mind taking a snapshot of that phone call, because it's all recorded. You could grab the audio or video or whatever. I'll tell you the negative ones too. Here's the negative ones, and notice all the negative ones get escalated to Johnny, and Johnny doesn't follow up. It'll give you a 30, 60, 90-day plan. It'll also vet out the knowledge gap and product feedback between the wheat and the chaff. What does that mean? Let's say we're an Italian restaurant, and I tell my waiting staff, guys, we sell pizzas here. Don't bug me. We sell pizzas, right? People come in, I sit at a table of 5, mom, dad, and a bunch of kids. I'm like, hey, my kid doesn't want pizza. Do you guys have sushi? Oh, sorry, sir. We don't serve sushi we're in a pizzeria here. Next table comes in, and they say, hey, my son he just ate pizza for lunch, whatever. Do you have anything else besides pizza? Do you have like a meatball sub or something that he can have? Like, oh, sorry, we just sell pizzas. 2 product feedbacks to say, hey, do you want to start offering sushi? Do you want to offer meatball sub? Your staff or both sides said no, because you told me you will only sell pizzas. Like, okay, well, we're for sure not going to sell sushi here, but meatball sub is a pizza that's wrapped differently, right? Yeah. Right? It's still sausage, marinara, and some sort of bread, right? So we could do that. How many people ask? Oh, I get 5 people a day at least ask me for a meatball sub. Why didn't you tell me? Well, you said we only sell pizza. Yeah, but there's somebody else who also wants ice cream. Like, you can't figure out what's good feedback versus bad feedback. Right. Yeah. And that was one person. This is 5 people a day, right? It'll give you that product feedback and explain to you, what is, as an operator, as a business owner, like what is the information that I need to hear from my employees at an executive level that they're not telling me.
Yeah. Okay. And I was looking at your plans too. And a lot of people are afraid that all this AI agents, everything's only for big business corporations. But I mean, you've got some plans that are ideal for micro businesses. I mean, the small mom and dad construction company or the pizzeria.
For sure. And we have a mixed bag of every type of business. If you get any type of traffic, we can help you. Because I came from nothing, all the businesses that I've created, I've wanted to make sure that one of the things I wanted to do is always reduce the barrier to entry.
Yeah. Okay.
Make it easier to get started. Now, don't get me wrong. I have customers paying me $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, right? That's because they have that type of volume, and they say, "Please take my money because you're still cheaper than everybody else," right?
Yeah.
But we do have free plans. Hey, I have a website. I barely get anybody on. It's a free plan. Okay, get it in there. Did it save you on 2-3 calls a month? Okay, yeah, it's a free plan. You don't have to pay me anything. I just want to help. Right?
Yeah.
What is our benefit for it? Okay, we have more distribution, more brand awareness. If your brother-in-law asks you, hey, I have this problem, what AI should I use? Maybe you recommend us, right? So we'll give you a little bit, and maybe you'll recommend us, right?
Yeah.
Then we have plans at $20, $50, $100, $350, and it just grows as you grow. And we don't have long-term contracts.
Level. I mean,
yeah, it grows with you. Once you reach a certain level, we say, okay, what is your projected growth? Because you don't want to keep on adjusting every month. Right. Yeah. So what is your projected growth for this year? Hey, we're thinking about growing about 15%. We'll bake a plan that says here's 20% extra, so that even if you overachieve, you're not going to get hit with an extra bill, right? And then we'll normalize it throughout the year, so that you're not, heavy loading the end of the year once your growth really shoots up. And we figured, does this make sense for you? And here's a heavy discount because you're buying in bulk. But for everybody else, it says, hey, I was on a $100 plan and I'm not quite sure. You can downgrade anytime. You don't have to cancel. Downgrade. Yeah. Downgrade to what? This is as cheap as free, right? So, and we're usage based, right? So we're basically saying, yes, we can't survive as a business if we give this free to everybody, right?
Yeah.
But you have a limit. If you exceed that limit, it says, hey, you could top up. Just fund it with $12 to get you through the rest of the month. And the next month, go back to the free one because you had an ad that ran, because it was Black Friday, because it was whatever. Okay, that's fine. We're not trying to hurt businesses. Our ethos is basically, if we can charge you 20% of the value we've given you, we think that's a fair deal. If I've given you $100 worth of value, right? Me charging you $20 doesn't seem like it's unfair. If I've given you 1,000, same 20%. Right. That's generally what we're trying to do. And we hope that we give people even more value than that. But that's sort of the equation.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. So for everybody that's listening, if you're not watching the YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see right behind his head. That's the website, Noem AI, Noem.ai. But if you're listening,
NOEM.ai, and the logo that looks like a gnome, right? The little gnomes that go work for you at night. But literally anybody can come into Noem.ai, put in their domain, and it'll spin up a chatbot for you. No code, no technical knowledge, no prompt engineering, right? It'll spin it up. It won't be perfect because it just scoured the internet for your information, said, here's a starting point for you. But you claim it, fine tune it, say, here's how you measure success, fine tune this language here, speak it with an English accent, right? Whatever it is. You fine tune it for your business, make it more brand aligned, and then by the end of the day, you have a chatbot that works on web, SMS, WhatsApp, social media, voice calls that you could distribute out and start getting your time back. That's the most valuable thing, is getting your time back.
Man, that's perfect. All right, so I tell you what, as we wrap up, I mean, first of all, everybody go check it out and try it, because I was looking at it earlier, playing with it a little bit. It's pretty cool. But as we wrap up, I always like to ask everybody resources. Like, if you could just say top 3 resources for success in life, just in general, not just business, books, podcasts, things like that, what would you recommend?
There's so many.
It's always hard to narrow it down.
If you're new to business, you're a salesman, you just don't know it yet. And by the way, everybody's a salesman. You're just selling something different. You're selling your skills, you're selling your time, you're selling your expertise. Read the book, Never Split the Difference. It's a classic.
All right.
Chris Voss, right? It's on most bookshelves out there. I know that sounds cliche, but read it, right? It actually has some really good in it. It's very entertaining. But there's some gems in there.
Is that Chris Voss, the negotiator?
Yes.
Okay.
Hostage negotiator.
I've listened to his masterclass. That dude's amazing.
His book, Never Split the Difference, is really good to understand how to negotiate in everything in life, but it translates very well into business.
Yeah.
Read the book if you're not quite resonating with people, right? Like, I think I have a good product out here. They're just, people aren't getting it. Mm-hmm. Read the book, Obviously Awesome. To say, hey, what is it that you're not saying? What is it that you're saying that's different than what people are hearing? And how to be obviously awesome to people, understanding very clearly. Being sometimes we're too busy trying to be clever and less clear. No, clarity over being clever. Read that book. That's a very good resource. The other thing is any AI model that you use, I'll leave you with this third one. ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. First thing you do is tell it, don't be my friend. Have it critique you. Go through ideation with it. Say, what's wrong with this? Ask it to poke holes. Don't ask it to agree with you. I see many people fall into two common mistakes. Having it over agree with you, with your baked in biases versus challenge me on everything. Okay. And trying to one shot. Being one prompt, like your prompt was literally one sentence. How do I make a business? Any particular vertical? I mean, any like, you want to give me a little bit more than that? You know what I mean? So pick, and with AI in particular, if I gave you, here's the analogy, and this is the last analogy, I promise you. If I gave you 3 master classes, 4 books, 5 seminars, and 3 podcasts about swimming, doesn't matter. How you jump into that pool, till your feet touch that water, doesn't matter. Jump in. You can do it. I'm not techie. I'm not techie. You can do it. We, all us engineers who are techie, spend a lot of time making it easy for you. Go in and just give it stop tiptoeing around it. Pick something simple, a task that you want off your plate, right? And just get started.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I've got a son, 18 years old or 19 now. He just did his first MMA match, and he didn't win, but proud of him just for jumping in the ring.
The fact that you put your feet in the ring, the biggest goal that you want to achieve is to say, I am capable of doing hard things, even if there's a chance of losing. So many people don't win because they're so afraid of losing.
Yeah.
And by the way, I have 5 successful startups. I've made millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in my career. You know how many failures I have? I have more failures than I do successes.
Yeah.
But because of those few successes that paid off, it's all worth it.
Oh yeah.
You know, I love that he tried. It doesn't matter if you won or you won. You only really lose if you didn't learn anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And he's already training harder, wanting to go back.
I love it.
Yep. All right. Well, Daniel, thanks for being with me this morning, man. I really appreciate it.
Happy to. It's a pleasure.
Yep. And hopefully I'm going to send a bunch of people to you. And so my audience, these micro businesses, these moms and dads, I mean, they'll let your AI turn them into powerhouses.
Yeah, I love it. Anybody who feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to help any size business.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, I know. I promised that was the end. But one last thing, and maybe this can benefit you as well. If you have any suggestions for someone you'd like to see on the podcast, feel free to send me their information or just their name. And if I like the idea, I'll try to look them up myself. But any suggestions, no matter how crazy, no matter how, well, especially if it's cool, well, crazy also, just send me your suggestions. And also, if you want to be on the podcast, get in touch with me. My email, all my contact info is in the show notes. Also, if you don't want to look at the show notes or you're in your car, maybe you shouldn't look at the show notes while you're driving. It's redteamgoals.com. You can get all my links and everything else there. So let me know your suggestions and tell me more about yourself if you'd like to be on the podcast as well. Thanks again for listening.